for Autism, you can join us and be part of a mission that takes on the challenges, the barriers, the statistics, the seemingly impossible, and help us overcome them all. HopeNetwork.org/autism.
My name's Dick Robinson, and I'm on as fuck. I've got all coppers and bastards. Told, I think it's on my fucking lip. You that bastard. Sit down. No, this is Aston Villa for life. Enough. I'll knock you out as well. What, if you rags my ankle? Fuck you.
Dead of night, all is calm at Humberside Police Headquarters.
Shh, it's oh so quiet. Shh.
But not for long.
It's oh so squishy now.
Something menacing and sharp-toothed is on the way.
Oh,
It's an industrial chop saw. And they're unaware of the trouble that comes with it.
What do you need his taser for? Hang on, why does he need his taser?
you blow a fuse.
There's three there, I'm cuffed up behind my back, there's one there, I don't know how many behind you with him. Why does he need his taser in his hand? Michael Leslie, arrested for nothing.
On the banks of the Humber, Hull is one of the commercial and retail capitals of Northern England. But where there's money, there's crime. And more than 3/4 of Humberside businesses are affected every year, costing each of them £30,000. Whatever the trouble, it's Sergeant Peter Swan and his team who pick up the pieces at Priory Road Custody Suite, where we've been filming for a year.
Oh yeah, that's picking up that microphone that I'm wearing.
If you have an argument with anything that happens, that's with me, not with anybody else.
Fucking hell! Look at me, I'm 5'10", and you can't put me down. He's got a taser.
He's going to use it on you if you are in here.
The first customer of the night, accused of nicking that industrial saw from a business, has got real attitude.
Can't you answer that? Why does he need the taser?
Because you've been violent and he's going to use it on you if you are in here.
Hang on, behave.
When arrested, Michael Cox was so angry, the police threatened to taser him with 50,000 volts.
Listen to you.
Yes, I am listening to me, and in a minute you will, and if you don't, I don't care, but here's what's happening. I'm authorising your detention here for burglary. We'll find out what you need.
You're talking over me.
I am, because I talk, you listen, I don't listen to you.
Do
we think this guy doesn't want to play?
Are we in Colombia?
Well, we've been through those questions.
Let's go through the questions then.
You will then speak to a nurse if necessary.
Question away.
But you don't make demands of us.
Question away.
We assess your needs.
Question
I'll
away.
leave you with this
You're
officer.
not important, you're nobody.
Do you understand?
Question away, and I will answer.
Good stuff. Over to you, Jim. You can only take so much of people shouting and cursing at you and your staff. I'm not having people coming in here and laying the law down like that.
But Mr. Cox has more questions than answers.
And is there any chance you could answer me? Why is that still stood behind me with a fucking taser? Is there any need?
Come on, Michael, let's go down to the sub.
Well, there ain't no need, is there?
Turn this way for a second. Come on.
4.
He will stand there till I tell him to go away, and I haven't yet. That's why he stood there.
Oh, that's why you're a
Yeah, we all are.
You just keep your shoes up before you go in for me.
Well, I think he's claiming that he'd found stolen property and wanted to return it to its due owners via the police. Unfortunately, our staff found him and assumed he had stolen it. I'm assuming that as well. I think he's banged to rights and he's just upset with himself for being so stupid.
It's not something that you would be nipping and borrowing your neighbour or whatever. It's an industrial saw. It's not something that a general member of the public would have on them at 2 o'clock in the morning.
It's always far with some with a fucking taser, isn't it?
I guess he doesn't like tasers.
It's an attempted theft that's brought the next man in, but he too thinks he's done nothing wrong.
Well then, mate.
All right.
You didn't expect to be here tonight, did you?
No.
Okay, time of the arrest for me, please.
23:40.
Right, what we do is, mate, just have a word with these officers.
Stephen Coupland surprised a thief trying to break into one of his company vans with a crowbar.
And the brief circumstances for me, please.
Yeah, gentleman's disturbed a male breaking into his motor vehicle. Subsequently detained him, and during that detention had some sort of fight with him and allegedly assaulted him.
And the offence?
Section 18 wounding assault.
me
Any piercings?
What do you mean?
Like nipple piercings?
Oh, no. I was a bit old for that. No, I was a bit old for that now.
Would like anybody informing that you're here?
Not as yet. We'll see how long I'm going to be here. I'll need to speak to my wife if I'm still here in the morning, which I don't want to be.
He may be smiling now, but he's unaware of the trouble he's in. His actions have put the other man in hospital.
It has got quite serious injuries, which obviously he's got to be assessed by a doctor. There was a substantial amount of blood on the pavement. I mean, it is a serious assault. The indication from the paramedics is that he may have some fractures, and the guy was sat down with blood coming from an open wound to his head.
You ever tried to self-harm before?
Pardon?
Ever tried to self-harm?
No.
You experienced any mental health problems or depression?
Only that I pay a lot of tax.
That's getting you down.
That's a good, that one does.
Mr. Coupland insists he was simply defending his property.
Somebody was breaking in the van in one of our vans. It had been broken into last night and the night before, and he came back to do it again. He hit us a couple of times and I hit him back.
But the question is, did he go too far?
Has caught somebody breaking into his van car. He's trying to protect his livelihood. Yeah, because he needs that to do his business, etc. Obviously, he's overreacted because this guy ended up in Rummy Hospital. But the point is, this guy's had a crowbar and he's gone. So it's him, hasn't he? And he's defended himself.
The pertinent point is, you've said it, he's overreacted.
We think we don't know at this time, though, do we?
No, we don't.
Because we don't know the injuries.
Which is why we're investigating him for GBH.
I heard him, so I'd gone out. So I'd confronted him, and he swung round with this bar, and he hit me on the hand, but I took it off him and brayed him with it.
This man might be a citizen's hero. He may be a nasty piece of work who people fear, and we have no means of knowing one way or the other. So he's in here for an offence. It'll be investigated, and at the end of it, we might charge him, we might not.
If charged with GBH, Mr. Coupland could be sent down for a long time.
Would you like something to eat? I've got a lasagna, a shepherd's pie, or a vegetable chicken curry.
Chicken.
OK, no problem.
It's dinner time at Priory Road.
Sugar's in. Sorry.
Which gives Sergeant Swan a chance to wax lyrical on his pet subject.
I have a retired racing greyhound, and they're beautiful pets. And they're also badly abused sometimes, looking for really good homes. So it's really my attempt to bring it to people's attention that they're big beasts that don't need a lot of exercise. They sleep for most of the day. With a greyhound, you get what you expect, a fast-running, gentle beast.
You've just been on about 10 minutes about greyhounds there, haven't you?
Yeah, but 10 minutes of good value.
Jeez.
The man accused of stealing the industrial saw is still complaining about the abrupt end to his bike ride.
Got 6 coppers there. Why do you need one with a taser? Totally over the top.
But he has calmed down enough to be processed.
Like martial arts, boxing,
No.
languages, any
No.
trades behind you?
I'll check my underpants.
CID are weighing up the evidence, and there's more than they bargained for.
That is huge. I don't know what I was expecting really, but I wasn't expecting that. So he's now got that. He's found that, he alleges. On you on a bike? You're riding on a bike? He was seen riding a bike carrying this, and he said he was going to take it to he's found it and hand it into the police station. However, he was riding the opposite way from the police station anyway, so obviously we don't believe him.
Well, they wouldn't, would they? But Michael Cox claims he was just being a good Samaritan.
He was just outside of a mate's double glazing factory, so I thought I'd look after it till the morning. Ask my friend if he was out to do with him. If not, then obviously inform the police. Unfortunately, I was lifted on the way home with it.
Take a seat, man. I'm just going to get a good fall right out.
I've done now, so I've got nothing to worry about. Waste of equipment, waste of resources, and a waste of my time. But there you go. As I say, I'll be released without charge.
But following a search of his house, they found this, and this, and this. So DC Bradley is convinced it's an open and shut case.
So that'll be straight out of some premise somewhere, that.
There's CCTV footage from the scene.
You can see 2 males here acting as lookout outside the compound. And the lad we got in custody is wearing similar clothing. He's wearing lighter trousers. He's got a darker jacket on him, so he's got some kind of baseball cap. And that's the clothing that our man's wearing.
And if that isn't enough, there may also be forensic evidence.
We found out that there's footwear marks which have been left at the scene. See if it is the same pair of trainers which have made that mark.
So things aren't looking too good for Mr. Cox. But he is still claiming the police have got it wrong. And when it comes to the law, he seems to know what he's talking about.
I have no intention of permanently depriving anybody. You need intention to permanently deprive, and I have no intention of such a thing.
So this might not be such an open and shut case after all. The next customer through the door isn't so coherent. He's talking but making no sense.
Don't sit this down. Don't sit this down. Get up. Don't sit this down. It was Nick Robinson, BBC 3.
Nicholas Robinson has been drinking all day.
Robinson, and the man as fuck, I've got all coppers and bastards. Told, I think it's on my fucking lip. You that bastard. Sit this down. The money says Aston Villa for life. Enough. I'll knock you out as well. What, if you rags my ankle? Fuck you.
1 in 3 detainees are under the influence of booze or drugs.
Get off my fucking wrist.
You're taking straight to a cell. Yeah.
This one's so aggressive he can't be dealt with until he's sobered up.
What's your name?
It's just standard procedure, just getting them in the cells, just make sure it's safe for their benefit, really. It looks a bit oppressive, but it's not. It's merely keeping it so they're safe and don't injure themselves.
Drink makes people behave like violent oafs on occasions. And that's why we leave them as long as we can to sober up, because they're different people when they're sober to when they're drunk.
At one point, he just lashed out and slapped this male across the face. He then started throwing punches round and about in the pub.
All right. Good lad.
He's got a major issue with alcohol, that's the main thing.
He's been drinking all day, hasn't he?
Obviously not drunk enough.
No.
It looks like booze is also the cause of this young lad's problems. He's 17 and so out of it he doesn't know where he is.
Offence, please.
Criminal damage.
His parents called the police after he chucked a wheelbarrow into a neighbour's garden. He's one of 250,000 youngsters who find themselves in the UK's lockups every year.
Take some deep breaths and calm yourself down. We got to the address, the lad went out the back door and was jumping over fences. We followed him over the fences and detained him. He was calm at first, and then he started getting a bit agitated. Started trying to run away and kick off and lash out at us. So we put fast straps on his upper body, his knees and his ankles just to calm him down.
It's his first time in custody. He's covered in scratches from the chase, but so spaced out he can barely sign his name.
You ain't very good to stay, are you? Sign on there, just for your belt, mate.
Sit yourself down, go on.
So just how drunk is he?
Nice deep breath and blow. Go on, keep going. Keep going, keep going. Well done. Smashing. All we need. A lot of effort there. In through your nose, out through your mouth.
The breathalyzer reveals it's not drink that's to blame.
Right, what else have you taken? Why? Because it's important that I know. You've had more than Stella.
They're worried he may be hiding something.
He might not have slept for a week, and he's now not under the influence of any drugs anymore, and just completely knackered.
Not knowing the cause means the risks increased, so he's placed on regular watch. Arrested for attacking a man trying to break into his van, Stephen Coupland's been in the cells overnight and is now a little frustrated.
They told me I would be out very early this morning, and it hasn't materialised. They must be seeking more evidence or whatever.
Dead right. The investigation is gathering pace.
Scenes of crime, Mike Ashford.
Hull's answer to CSI is on the case.
I found some what looks like blood on the wall. There could be traces of blood still in the crack where it's gone down, so I've taken some swabs just to see if I can gather some of that evidence. It may be lost, it may be not. I found 2 bits of plastic on the floor that could be off clothing, off a buckle or something, I'm not sure. And there's also a cigarette end near the gate which I'll have for DNA as well. The van's soaking wet, so I've arranged for it to be recovered. If he had had fingerprints around the lock where he's tried to get into it, it will need recovering to be dried out for a later fingerprint exam. It's got extensive, well, quite bad damage to both front door handles. Aluminium chrome shroud around the sliding door has all been bent back as well. Okie doke.
I hope you'll see to me within a couple of hours, because I've got staff in mourning to get to jobs, and they won't understand what's happened.
Coupland's interview will be crucial, but before it can happen, his solicitor needs to be fully briefed. DC Kirsta Wood is the investigating officer.
Right, I've prepared a disclosure document for you if you want to have a read through, and I'll answer any questions I can for you, if you wouldn't.
How is the alleged victim?
We've just received a telephone call from the sergeant to say that he will be going into surgery, but we don't know exactly what the nature of that injury is. We believe it's to his ear and to his hand.
But we're still talking about wounding
Yes.
allegation. The reason for his arrest, wounding.
The nature of the injuries would suggest more of a wounding than an ABH.
Okay.
Offences of wounding are much more serious. One of the worst is GBH, for which Mr. Coupland could get life.
If I hadn't hit him, he would have hit me. He has instigated the matter with swinging for me with this bar. I'll have to wait for the outcome, won't I? I hope to get off with a caution.
It would appear from what he's already said to officers at the time of his arrest that he's claiming self-defence and reasonable defence of his property. So it's a matter for us to get that account from him and put that against what a reasonable person in the street would believe is reasonable force. We'll see you in a few minutes.
Mr. Coupland.
All right.
Yeah, I'm Robin Smith, I'm a solicitor. I'm afraid that's as far as I can go in your presence.
Understandably.
It's a very serious offence. He could go to prison, so it's very serious.
Morning.
The 17-year-old wheelbarrow thrower is starting to cause real concern.
Wait, wake up for me, mate. Wake up for me, mate. Come on, buddy, wake up for me. Sit up. Come on. Wake up. Wake up. Come on. What have you had? What have you had? What have you taken?
With the lad so difficult to rouse, the nurse is called.
Come on, mate, see if you can stand up. Come on. Come on, stand up for me. Stand up. You've been on drugs or something? Eh? Come on, stand up. I've been in there and he's very, very hard to rouse and wake up. Come on then, buddy, this way. Come on. We don't know what he's taken. He hasn't had much alcohol in his system, but at his point he could have taken some type of drug. You want to sit down on this grey chair for me? And Nurse is going to have a word here, find out what's going on.
Right. So what have you had?
I don't know.
Well, you must know.
I don't know.
What's making you like this, then? Pardon? Were you normally like this? Right, look at me. Look at my finger. His general condition gives cause for concern in that his pupils are unequal. His clinical observations are quite down on what they should be for a 17-year-old. He denies any drug use, so I'm going to send him to Hull Royal with a view for them to reassess for head injury and any intoxicating substance that he hasn't admitted to.
We are going to send him to hospital for observations, really, so that if his blood pressure continues to go down, obviously there comes a point where your body can't function and it's a critical incident then in terms of health. So hopefully they'll detain him so that if that happens, he's in the best place to be dealt with when it does. So you're 14. Were you born in Hull?
Yeah.
Have you been arrested before?
Yeah.
At 14, this lad's even younger than the wheelbarrow thrower. So young, he's brought his mum with him. But it's not drink or drugs, just messing about that's got him banged up.
Time of arrest?
0920.
And the circumstances?
Circumstances, there's two separate incidents. One, he's been seen to ride a mini motor near to his home address, causing harassment and alarm and distress. And then the second one is he was on top of the Long Hill Link-Up Trust on Shannon Road on the roof, again causing distress to the people working there.
This is only what people say.
Yeah, it's obviously the grounds for my arrest though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Right, okay.
As well as riding his mini moto, the lad's been seen shouting and swearing from a rooftop. And with that sort of behaviour, like most juveniles with ASBOs, he's broken the rules.
Would we be out before quarter past 3?
I would think so. Just hang on to that because you'll need to wear it when you go into the cell, OK?
This young hoodie could be trouble in the making.
We've known Mark since the age of about 10 or even before. We've just had a long conversation with him in the car on the way here. Hopefully it gets through. It does get through to some people, but others go the other way and lead the life of crime.
How many times have you been in here now?
I don't count.
About?
Probably more times than you.
You have to give you the clocking on card, don't you? Do you get sick of coming in here?
Is that right?
Yeah, because you get treated too good, don't you? Should be on bread and water.
I call him the police.
You'd describe him if you lived in the area as a bloody nuisance, really, but nothing more. He's causing occupants and residents in the area quite a lot of annoyance, so we've stepped in to try and stop that.
By imposing an antisocial behaviour order, which means he can be arrested every time he steps out of line.
Do you want to stay for his photograph or not?
He's so comfortable at Priory Road, he's happy for his mum to go outside for a fag.
He's been through the system before and he was a cheeky chappy. So it was just a case of, he knows the system, he knows how we work in here. Look into the black box, here we go.
Don't look at me.
He's just doing kids stuff really, driving on fields and motorbikes and that type of thing, which obviously is still breaking the law, but he wasn't what I would call a bad lad. Come on then, lad.
And that can be an issue with ASBOs. Once you've got one, you can be pulled in for relatively minor things. All it takes is for someone to complain.
I got arrested a couple of weeks ago for... They thought I was smashing a sign up outside the shop. But even the shop owner said it wasn't me, it was just the kid saying it was me.
An ASBO can be a sledgehammer to crack a nut, where you have children engaged in activities that children just engage in, and we can criminalise a whole section of society in the years ahead. The law is an effective tool if used properly, but I think we often use them incorrectly.
Most of my mates even said they would rather be in prison than be on an ASBO. Because you get locked up like nearly every day for things you haven't done and for things you have done, like really silly things. Like, just for swearing at someone.
For now, he'll have to await his fate. Stephen Coupland's given his side of the story and has been told the man he assaulted needed surgery. He's finally beginning to understand the gravity of his situation.
This is a hard-working family man, impeccable character. Over the previous 3 nights, or 2 nights, he's had attempts have been made to steal his van or steal items from his van. This is the 3rd consecutive night, and on this occasion, he effectively has caught somebody red-handed. You can only feel sorry for him, but he gave a good account of himself in an interview, and hopefully police will come to the right decision.
They believe I've gone too far. I've gone further than self-defence.
Do you agree with that?
No, I don't, because if I hadn't have done that, he would have done the same to me.
And he is Matthew Higgins.
Matthew, I'm just going to book you in.
Just released from hospital and in big trouble for taking a crowbar to Stephen Coupland's van.
I had my back to him, trying to obviously break into his van, and then he hit me from behind. If I'd have seen him coming, I'd have run. You know what I mean? But I didn't even see him coming. And when I went down onto my knees, he carried on beating me over the head with a steel bar. Put my hand up to stop, to like deflect it, and that's when he shattered my hand, yeah? There's also a severed my ear. My ear was hanging on by that much, yeah?
But where does the truth lie? With 36 convictions, including wounding and possession of a prohibited weapon, Mr. Higgins has a lot to lose.
When the police turned up on the scene, they found me sat on the floor with my head between my hands, with my ear hanging off, yeah? Blood gushing everywhere out of my head, yeah? And my hand totally smashed in. I'm black and blue from legs upwards, yeah? And this is the bloke who reckons that I attacked him. Yeah, he hasn't got a mark on his body. He's got a scratch that big. He couldn't have even got from shaving.
Was you a bit of an handful when you came in last night?
It's amazing what a night in the cells can do. The stroppy drunkard Nicholas Robinson is a new man.
I've been arrested 3 times this year, and it's all alcohol related. I was definitely drinking yesterday. I was with my girlfriend in Hotpole. That's pretty much all I can remember. I know I must have been it because my ear's swollen and the side of my head. If it was fighting, I looked like I lost the fight, to be honest, with the size of my ear and my head, so I don't think I could have done anything really bad.
I get drunk, I don't get violent, I go to sleep. The drink withdraws people's inhibitions, and how you stop people doing that, if it wasn't the drink, it would probably be something else.
If you just blow into that, I'll hold it, mate. You just blow into it, and I'll tell you when to stop. Keep going. Lovely, thank you. It's still going up.
Does it just say pissed?
It says very drunk.
Does it?
And it's 76.
That's why I don't drive.
77, so you're still quite under the influence, mate. So I won't be able to interview you just yet.
What time did you get arrested, do you know?
No, I had been arrested. I got woke up by that lovely copper this morning. They wanted to give me a cuddle.
9:30, so you must have had a hell of a drink last night.
Reckon?
Yeah.
You lose about 10 units an hour.
You alcohol dependent?
The drive is 35 units.
And I've been here, what?
You're at 77 and you've been in for 12 hours.
That means he was 6 times over the limit when he was arrested.
Are you alcohol dependent? Do you drink every day?
I do drink every day, yeah.
You do? How long have you been alcohol dependent?
A couple of years, 2, 3 years.
Are you ever trying to have any help for that?
Yeah, I'm registered with a company called Aquarius because I live in Birmingham, you see, I'm only back 'cause it's my birthday. I've got counsellors and things like that.
So what are they do, try and wean you off it gradually then?
A little bit. They've got the worst advice ever. They're like, oh, we wouldn't recommend you stop drinking just yet because you'll start having fits and stuff. And
you can't, that's the worst thing you can do, you know.
I'll keep drinking then.
Yeah, but alcohol's different, you know, to drugs. Drugs, you can come off it straight away and you'll go through cold turkey.
Yeah.
But with alcohol, if you do that, your organs can shut down.
Yeah.
So they've got to wean you off it very, very gradual.
So he's fallen off the wagon again, and he's still only 22. But he's not your usual drunk.
I'm a successful young man. I'm the regional manager of my marketing company. Alcohol doesn't affect me one bit. In fact, sometimes when I'm sat there drinking, I have my best ideas. Well, the only thing that's dragging me back is the alcohol, but it's not really dragging me far.
Is there anything else that I need to be aware of?
Yes, I'd like an ensuite in my cell, if that's possible.
You're unlucky, mate, because the one with the Xbox and everything else and it's been spoken for.
Oh, is it? You're joking?
So you're unlucky on that one. Can you give me 6 from the pad for me then, please?
Time for another cuppa, and Sergeant Swan is still barking on about his pet subject.
So for Pete's sake, adopt a greyhound, and back home we've got another dish that says, for Rocky's sake, policemen need good homes. Retired policemen need good homes. That's the one, isn't it?
The 17-year-old wheelbarrow thrower who was near to collapse is back in the lockup.
You're moving a bit better. You spoke your beans, have you? No, let's just move this one off here. I'll tell you what, let's clean you up a little bit.
The hospital discharged him because they decided he was under the influence of drugs and needed time to sleep it off.
Just a little bit concerned about you, that's all, because you generally, after a little while, drowsiness and things like that starts to fall off, doesn't it? Well, it's not falling off at the minute.
But the police aren't so sure. He may have banged his head running away from the arresting officers.
Ah, dear. You okay down there, fella? There's a doctor with you, and I'm the police. Do you understand? We have somebody who isn't getting any better, and we don't know why. His consciousness is about 0, and he's incapable of sitting up and supporting himself, and quite incapable of standing. And he also has slight bruising behind his ear. So there is a chance that it isn't actually any drug that's causing this. He may possibly have head injuries. So the doctor now is suggesting that they maybe do a CT scan because you wouldn't expect somebody to still be under the influence of drugs.
Here's the ambulance service, please. I'm calling from Primary Police Station, the custody suite.
With the possibility of a head injury, they're taking no risks. 2 hours after being discharged, he's going back to hospital.
We're not doctors, so this just isn't the right place to have anybody where you're not at all certain as to what the symptoms are.
But this isn't a get-out-of-jail-free card. He'll still have to answer for criminal damage, but only once he's recovered. The Crown Prosecution Service has decided Mr. Coupland does have a case to answer for using excessive force.
The charge is Section 18, grievous bodily harm with intent. Unlawfully and maliciously cause grievous bodily harm to Matthew Simeon Higgins with intent to do him grievous bodily harm contrary to Section 18 of the Offences Against the Person Act 1861. Do you have any reply to that charge?
Not guilty. But I didn't think I would be charged, actually. I didn't. And you didn't really, did you?
All I could say to you is that it's entirely up to the CPS. They're presented with the evidence and they make a decision based on that, and it could have gone either way, really.
I think it came as a bit of a shock to him. I'm sure he was expecting a bit of a slap on the wrist to telling off. If that, GBH with intent, one down from murder, really. The only element missing is that he didn't kill somebody.
I think it's a natural reaction. Obviously, you see somebody breaking into your property and your belongings, you're going to confront that person. because nobody likes to be have items taken away from them.
That's the rule of the jungle, isn't it? If we allow that, somebody attacks your property, you do what you like. You seek your vengeance. That's vigilantism.
I'm hopeful I will win, and that is it. My peers will put us right, won't they?
The 12 men on the 12 good men
On the jury. Yeah. See ya. Bye.
When Nicholas Robinson eventually sobered up enough to be dealt with, he was charged on 2 counts of common assault.
Would you like to make any reply to those charges? You don't have to.
He pleaded guilty and was given a 12-month conditional discharge.
Okay, Mark, I'm going to charge you with the breach of ASBO.
The 14-year-old boy admitted breaching his ASBO and got a 12-month youth rehabilitation order.
Come on then, your taxi's waiting.
I'd have to be a bit naive to say I don't expect to see him back again because he's been through the custody system several times quite recently. But, you know, you can't write a 14-year-old child off at this stage, can you really?
Yeah, look at me, look at my finger. So what have you had?
Oh, no.
Well, you must know.
No.
The police never got to the bottom of what was wrong with the wheelbarrow thrower. But he did recover, admitted criminal damage, and was dealt with by the Youth Justice Service.
Michael Leslie, arrested for nothing.
Mr. Cox was right. The evidence didn't stack up and he was set free.
There was never in any doubt that I'd be released without charge. All this has done is cost me work because, as you saw, they took all my tools and no tools, no work. But that's the police for you. They're the one-track man. If they're sure you've done something, they'll get the teeth into you and they won't let go.
The case against Mr. Coupland was also dropped.
It's got extensive, well, quite bad damage to both front door handles.
The man who tried to break into his van refused to give evidence. Matthew Higgins was convicted of attempted theft and going equipped. He got a 3-month suspended prison sentence and had to pay Mr. Coupland £420 compensation.
It was the right outcome. You should be able to protect your own gear, what I've worked for. What I was charged with, there was no way I went out intentionally to inflict the punishment that he got. He started it. He was the one with the crowbar. He got what he deserved.
Sergeant Swan's shift is over, but like all good coppers, he's never off duty. Even the dog's worried.
When he misbehaves, I just like to show him the other side so that he knows what's in store if he does it anymore, you see. So you learn your lesson, dog. Yes. Right, home time.